Alright. Hello everybody, welcome back to another indie game review. This was going to be a first play on launch day. My review was going to be the first review because this game had 0 reviews when I was trying to stream this yesterday, but I got interrupted. So I had to stop and we're going to restart. So this looks pretty cool, guys. I got into it a little bit yesterday. I saw this game on Steam, DnD Adventure. I went and requested a key on Keymailer, which is a place any YouTuber or Twitch content creator can go and request games from the developer or publisher. And I went and requested this game when I saw that it looked pretty cool. And within 20 minutes, they had offered me a key. So I want to go ahead and thank the developer or the publisher, whoever gave me the key for this, so I could bring this game to you guys. This is a D&D game, an adventure game that's written in text, basically. You're going to have to read. Yep, the graphics, I mean, you're going to have to do something called, like, use your imagination with this game. You're going to have to read, so it's not all fancy graphics brought to you. Imagine having to actually read and use your imagination, huh? I typically like these kind of games, especially if it's well written, if it's a good story, and if it offers interesting choices that make sense. So for example, if it offers you a choice and you make an action and what happens to you makes sense based on what you choose, then I typically like these kind of games. So that's yet to be seen. But this is a game where you're the wizard of this interactive fantasy story. Stay alive, manage your spell power, find treasure, and smite evil. All 6 episodes are included for 20 plus hours of adventure. So the game is brought to us for only $5, which to me seems like a really good price for somebody that's wrote all this out and wrote all the different, paths out based on your choices. If it's good writing, hell of a good value here, in my opinion. So, a 0 learning curve, read the story, and make decisions. Outcomes are determined by decisions you make, more than 300,000 words, and 20 plus hours of gameplay. Stay alive and sane, use your magic, and gather gold. Score and rank at the end. Ambient sounds and music. Comfort options, 8 different fonts to choose from, etc. So you can choose the fonts and make them bigger, whatever. And written by Sam Landstrom. Sorry. And looks like it has pretty good, art here that's going to demonstrate as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into D&D Adventure, Wizard's Choice, and see if this game's worth your $5. See if I like it, and we'll do that right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Unity is what the game is made in. Highly addictive interactive fiction where you make the choices and you drive the story. Well, this is good. Hopefully, this developer makes more of these, Welcome, players. You're about to enter a new kind of story. As the hero of your own adventure, you decide where the journey goes. It's all about the choices. Select the first chapter on the right and follow your fate. Your progress is constantly saved automatically. A good fortune, adventurer. So if you come up to options, guys, I've kind of already lowered the volumes here. You can set a custom cursor should you want to, so you can see your cursor changing. Let's go and do that. Why not? Save them back. Okay. And if we come here, we're going to go ahead and start over. Never completed. Okay, let's see. I think I already reset this, though. Moral, mental health, as precious as life. Particular better than chapter. Yeah, I started it over already. So it looks like you don't, and I know in D&D, a lot of times you roll your beginning attributes and stuff like that. 12 and 14, 0 and 0. If we do a restart right here, is there any chance we'll roll different numbers? For like our health and mana and all that? Curious. I have a feeling it's going to be 12 and 14 no matter what. We'll try one more time. 12 and 14. Yep. So there's no RNG at all in your beginning stats or whatever. Alright. I like that. Alright. Well, let's go. Wizard's Choice 1 by Sam Landstrom. Summary: you play the part of a wizard in a medieval fantasy world. This is the first part of an epic series. Alright. Begin. Alright, I like the art here, so you can kind of see the thick forest you're in and a trail going between the trees, or winding through the... That's a thick fucking forest of trees, holy cow. You got a torch in hand, you got a sword, you're ready to go. Now, this isn't exactly what a wizard would look like, though. You are a young wizard seeking treasure and glory. You were walking along a path in the forest one day, in one day's journey from Ring City, your beloved home. Night has just fallen, and you're thinking about how it might be a good idea to find a campsite. After all, you're now in goblin territory, and it's dangerous to travel in the dark. Suddenly, you smell something awful. Reginald! Are you responsible for that outrageous smell? You ask the warrior striding ahead of you. So this is Reginald we see here. So we're looking out our own eyes, and we see Reginald in front of us. We smell something bad, and we think he fucking farted in our face. Right now, I'm always downwind for my companions when I squeeze my bellows, Reginald answers. So he says, if I fart, I'm going to get behind you, man. That's respectful. You realize that you have never encountered this before. And it is close. And perhaps it's just your imagination, but is that muffled breathing you just heard? What do? Shout a warning to Reginald. Die flat on your face. Hide. Or stop and listen. Well, here, I mean, I'm trying to... We know it's not Reginald's fart. Hopefully we trust him, right? We think we hear breathing. I think I'm going to, before I do anything crazy, I think I'm just going to stop and listen. Mana decreases by 2, morale increases by 2. So this is probably the effect of what we just read. Or what we're going to read, rather. No need to panic yet, you think. You grab Reginald by the shoulder and gesture for him to shut the fuck up. Be quiet. The two of you stand motionless for a few long seconds before you hear a low wheezing sort of breathing. Aha! Reginald must have heard it too, because he raises his sword defensively. A series of snorts is followed by several goblins with green-tinted skin charging out of hiding towards you. With an arcane word and a flourish of one hand, you send a bolt of fire into the leader of the charge, who drops to the ground, thrashing in flames. That's cool. I like the way this story is written already. Reginald hacks down another with his sword, and the remaining 3 run away, whooping and yipping. So that's why our mana decreased, because we cast a firebolt. I like this. I like this a lot. Soon their cries are joined by others from the dark forest all around you. Many calls from far too many goblins to fight toe-to-toe. So we can imagine this, guys, in the forest all around us. We hear all these goblins, like way too many to fight, in a big ring all around us in the darkness of the trees. That's cool. It is a hunting party tracking wild game, I wager. Human is a delicacy, much better than mutant, Reginald says. You regard the 2 dead goblins on the ground. Dead goblins are worth 10 gold pieces per head in the city. Luckily, you don't carry their heads around. The city authorities will simply accept their left ears. What do? Well, if all we have to do is cut an ear off and get 10 gold, fuck that, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're not just gonna run. I mean, I know we have goblins all around, but fuck it. And we need gold, right? We need gold to buy shit. Gold increases by 10. Oh, we killed 2 goblins, but Reginald's probably going to get his own here. Okay. I'm kind of surprised that it's going to go ahead and give us the gold right now. I'm surprised we don't have to go back to town and actually sell the loot. But then again, that would make this more complicated than it needs to be, I guess. Get the ears, you exclaim as you pull out your razor-sharp dagger from your belt. For a second, Your sometimes slow-witted warrior sidekick doesn't understand. But as you start sawing away at the first ear, he gets the idea and fishes out his own dagger. Soon, you have a bloody goblin ear stuffed in your pocket, and Reginald has one of his own. Nasty? Very. However, 10 gold pieces are nearly 6 months of wages to a common laborer, so you're willing to take the hit. Hell yeah, 6 months of wages? What now? Reginald asked. Certainly, there are excellent places to hide in the forest, if we can just make it until morning. True. Goblins may have dogs, and their own sense of smell is keen, you say. Well, we might climb a tree. That would be at least defensible, Reginald suggests. You wish to be treed like a fox with goblins barking underneath you. Well, if you wish a position that is both defensible and allows some freedom of movement, we should hasten the Cabal Avernus. It is near, and we could fortify ourselves behind the walls, Reginald says. You frown. Yes, it's a fortress, but it's inhabited by what? God knows what manner of creatures have taken up their residence in that ruin over the years. Ooh. Hide in the forest, garrison the ruined walls, or climb a large tree. And should we hide, go to the ruins, or climb a large tree? Yeah, I kind of agree with myself here, saying, hey, you don't want to be trapped up in a tree, right, with a whole bunch of goblins down there below you, barking up at you, who knows what, shooting spells at you, shooting arrows at you, whatever. Yeah, that doesn't sound like... I think it's going to be either between hiding or going to the garret, the ruins. Let's go to the ruins. Fuck it. Let's take refuge behind the stone walls of the Castle of Avernus, you say. Okay, real quick, let's look at the map of Avernus right here. Okay, so we're somewhere right here in the middle. Okay. Goblin hunting calls echo from all around the forest as the two of you dash up the path 100 meters or so, where you find a fork in the road. The path to the right appears to be seldom used since it's nearly overgrown. The path to the left is clear, and you think you see a firelight down that way. Does this fire belong to the goblins? Or, if you're lucky, it's a campfire of another friendly adventuring party. What do you do? Okay, so we have 2 morale, we have 10 gold already, we're down 2 mana, and we haven't lost any life yet. Let's go to the castle. Fuck it, we're not going to investigate the fire. Morale increases by 1. Enough foolishness! The Castle of Avernus and her blessed walls, you proclaim? Reginald raises his fist. Yes! Might their puny bodies break against their stone defenses. After a minute of stumbling down what is best described as a game trail, you see the shadowy husk of the ruin in the moonlight ahead. Unfortunately, the battle cries of your pursuers are closer than ever, and when you look back over your shoulder, you see their glowing eyes. I like the art. The two of you turn on a burst of speed, and soon the outer wall of the castle looms before you. It is about 10 feet high and crumbling. You realize with horror that there are no holes in this wall that are large enough to fit through. Meanwhile, Reginald, the faster runner than yourself, has disappeared around the north corner of the wall. A short spear whistles past your head. You look back and see at least 4 of the little beasts. This is what we see when we look back. Got it. What do you do? Follow Reginald? Jump the wall spell. Okay, 1 mana. Or turn and blast them, 4 mana. As much as I like the thought of fighting right now, I don't know that I want to separate from Reginald and lose him. So I think I'm going to... You know what, fuck it, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. Reginald wants to run off and leave us. Because we already have a short spear being thrown right by our head. We're lucky that didn't fucking hit us. Yeah, we're going to stand our ground. We're going to fight right now. Mana decreases by 4, morale increases by 2. Die, filthy vermin, you shout as you turn to face your pursuers. They are not far behind you, and you only have to wait a few seconds before they are in range. You shout out the spell trigger word, and a gout of flame erupts from your outstretched hand, engulfing 4 goblins. Wow, we got them all at once. They scream shrilly for a moment and fall silent as their flaming bodies crumble to the ground. No more goblins are visible, and you run to catch up to Reginald. Hey, what about getting the fucking ears, man? As you round the north side, you see him above a section of a partially crumbled wall. He helps you scramble over the top and onto the rotten egg gangplank. He grins at you and nods in the direction from where you come. Gods have struck terror into that advanced party. However, they will call for reinforcements. We have the wall. The question remains, can we hold it? We could go in. You point to the castle beyond the courtyard. The castle is 3 stories tall, or at least it had been before most of the top floor collapsed. The second story is barely any better. The fortress is as lifeless and still as a painting. Nevertheless, you wonder if anyone is looking back at you from the dark arrow slits of the first floor. What do you suggest? Enter the castle now, or prepare a wall defense? I really like the wording and the way this story is written. I mean, obviously, I kind of wish there were some more choices. Like, it gave us the option to cut the arrows off the first 2 goblins we killed or whatever. But I could have made 40 more gold by cutting the ears off quickly from the 4 goblins I incinerated with my firebolt or whatever. So, you know, I kind of wish that we had some more options, I guess. But it's understandable, I guess, that we're kind of in a hurry. We just wanted to wipe those guys out because they were gaining ground on us or whatever. And, you know. So let's take a look here. Alright. Let's go ahead and prepare wall defense. Gods know what's in that castle. Let us fight, only one enemy at a time, you say. Soon, the forest around you is dotted with glowing sets of eyes. You can tell this is well written. It is difficult to count them as they appear and disappear behind the trees. But you guess 20 or more. Surely they will attack from all sides at once, says Reginald. And they can see at night, like we can see in the day. So they get cat's eye, basically. Cat's eye vision. Night vision. You counter the long, dry grass of the courtyard below. With some lamp oil, you could start a brush fire down there. The light of it could perhaps even the odds on those nocturnal creatures. You could even cast a spell upon the fire to create a blinding flash. But you are not sure you want to leave the wall to carry out such an unconventional plan. They may attack you while you're away, leaving only Reginald to defend the walls. You wonder how long the goblins will take to muster their forces up. Your question is immediately answered as you hear a battle cry. High-pitched, furious, and seemingly on the edge of panic. It erupts from the forest as a tide of little evil green eyes surge forward. See, this is what I love. Good writing, guys, and I can't overemphasize this enough. Like, I know how much we all love beautiful 3D games nowadays. I know how much we love going to the movies and see a $500 million, special effects, adventure like this, like Harry Potter, for example, or Lord of the Rings, or, something new. That they spent a lot of money on special effects or whatever. But again, I want to go ahead and say that nothing, no movie, no game graphics can ever compare with the power of your imagination. And that's something that none of us use nearly enough. In today's world we live in, where everything is given to us on a silver platter, I think that too many of us fail to use our imagination nearly enough. And that's why I really like a well-written story, whether it be, one of the many like text adventures I've read over the years. Sometimes the visual novels can make us use our imagination. And if the writing is well done and it makes us use our imagination, much like this one is doing. I mean, right now we can imagine that we're in this crumbled ruins, we're up on this wall, and we can almost see and envision all the goblins from all the dark trees all around, and hearing these goblins cry out, seeing their fucking red eyes blinking in and out as they move in the shadows of the forest. We can use our imagination and we can see what this writer here is writing about and imagining himself. The reason we can imagine what he envisions in his own mind here, as he writes the story out, is because he's good at writing. He's good at giving us good description of what we're seeing. And that sparks our imagination. And again, nothing, no 3D graphic games, no special effect movie can compare with the power of your imagination. I can't overemphasize that enough, guys. I've said it many times over the years, and I know people are lazy, people don't want to read, people don't want to use their imagination, but I think more of us should try using our imagination in an adventure like this, and see that it really is better than, you know, a $60 fucking Unreal game with all the amazing graphics and everything like that. I'm not saying that you should completely replace your 3D gaming with all text adventures. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying once in a while it wouldn't hurt to pick up a game like this and use your imagination and let it flow. I think it's probably good for your mind. It's probably good for you. And you know, why not? Why not give it a try? Hopefully you're enjoying this. So what can we do? So we hear a battle cry, high-pitched, furious, and seemingly on the edge of panic. It erupts from the forest as a tide of little green evil eyes surge forward and closer to us. Do we blast them, run for the castle, or set the courtyard on fire? I think we're going to set the courtyard on fire and see if it works. Let's do it. Mana decreases by 2, so we obviously cast another spell, and more morale increases by 4, so we probably killed some more goblins. The main thing is we lost no health yet. Without a moment to lose, you jump down into the courtyard, empty a flask of oil onto the dry grass, and light it. The fire spreads rapidly, and you ascend the ladder against the wall to rejoin Reginald. God help us now! They're coming from all sides, you shout. That's me shouting out, sorry. God help us now! They're coming from all sides, you shout. Reginald does not answer as he works with his bow. Throm goes to string. Soon, several of the goblins have scaled the far wall. Okay, uh-oh. 2 have dropped down into the courtyard, while another charges up the rickety battlement walkway towards you. Others follow, and then steal more from the east and west walls. You can see them clearly, thanks to the courtyard rush fire. Okay, lighting things up, because it is night. You dare not wait any longer. Reginald, close your eyes, you shout, and you let loose the spell. Crack! You see a bright pink behind your shut eyelids. So basically, you're closing your eyes, you're casting this spell because it's so fucking bright, right? The fire has become a brilliant flash, so you're lighting this fire onto the fire below that you've ignited. A brief pulse brighter than full daylight. You wait for a second. It will take that long for the flare to die down. Now the little monsters are shielding from their glowing eyes and screaming. One of them stumbles headlong off the battlement. Kill them all and be quick about it. They will not be blind for long, you shout as you reach into the folds of your robe and pull out a dagger. Reginald slings his bow and unsheaths his long sword. The goblins still standing there, now waving their short swords and spears blindly in front of them. Reginald effortlessly bats those weapons aside with his long sword. With a single mighty cleave per creature, he cuts down the goblins and one after another. So basically, he's just slaying them with like fucking a hot knife through butter while they're blinded. For you, using a blade to dispatch foes is demeaning and dangerous. Blind or not, those vicious little monsters will slash and bite for their lives. Nevertheless, a long knife requires no mana, so you quickly get to work. You jump down into the courtyard where you have more room to maneuver. You run behind each goblin, thrust your dagger, and immediately spring backward before your victim has a chance to swing at you. You smile to yourself. You're really on a roll. Gods, I hate goblins, you think. And just as you consider singing a song to better mock your blinded quarry, more of the little beasts come along. A lot more. They scuttle over the walls like cockroaches. Oh boy. This ain't good. To the castle, you shout. Once across the courtyard, you open the large wooden double doors, which shriek on the rusty hinges. I can imagine it. Inside, Reginald slams and bars the doors. The entrance chamber is large with a high vaulted ceiling. The walls are cracked and flaking. The ground is strewn with loose rubble. The air is stale inside. Aside from the double doors behind you, there are closed wooden doors on the north, east, and west walls. Near the north door, there is a stairway going up, but it is blocked by rubble. It is not long before the front doors begin to rattle violently. Through a nearby arrow slit, you can see glowing eyes and a glint of axes chopping away at the wooden door. You're not sure how long the battle portal will hold them. Reginald wants to hide deeper in the castle. On the other hand, this place smells of death. It might be prudent to take a few seconds to investigate the room and the doors. What do you do now? Let's go? Or search the room and the doors? Choices. So I think anybody that used to like the old, choose your own adventure type games or whatever is really going to enjoy this game. I know when I grew up in the 80s or whatever, the choose your own adventure books were really, really popular. It'd be a book and you would start reading it or whatever. It'd give you choices just like this. And it would say, if you choose, to move on, go to page 19. If you choose to search the room for doors, go to page 155 or whatever. And that would be kind of what it was. And you turn to page 155, read a page text or whatever, and it'd give you more choices or whatever. Or if there wasn't enough room on that page to, to put everything that happened, it would say, now turn to page 29 or whatever. You go to page 29, you read the rest of it, and then it give you a choice or whatever. And give you like 3 more choices. If you wish to do this, go to page 3. If you wish to do this, go to page 311. You wish to do this third option, go to page 270 or whatever. Really cool. They were really fun to flip through and see all the different endings or whatever. I used to love Choose Your Own Adventure books when I was a kid. And this reminds me so much of that. We're going to search the room and the doors. You motion to Reginald to check the east door. You inspect the ground and see there has been traffic through here. Some of the tracks on the rusty floor appear to be human-sized shoes or boots, but others appear to be from bare feet too large to be for men. None of the tracks appear to belong to goblins, however. Listening, you can't hear anything over the goblins thumping and screaming outside. You direct the light of your lantern at the northern door and are about to turn toward the eastern door when something catches your attention. Was that an eye, you wonder? You think you caught a glimpse of a glistening eyeball through a rotting hole in the northern door. Casually, as though just taking another look around, you sweep your lantern light over the door again, pausing for just an instant at that spot. Yes, it was an eye. You're being watched. And although your glimpse of it was fleeting, you could tell the eye did not belong to a human. The white of the orb is pink with blood, while the retina is pitch black and large. You would like to get a better look at the creature. There is a minor spell you normally use to magically open doors from a distance. You find it tedious opening doors yourself. As long as the door is unlocked, you could use this lazy wizard spell to open the eye door without being too close. On the other hand, that may frighten or anger whomever that eye belongs to. Perhaps you should just talk to it. Maybe you can join forces against the goblins. Alternatively, you might be able to hurl a bolt of fire through the eye hole. Not an easy shot, but you have the element of surprise. Ooh. Finally, there is the option of running, a choice that has been keeping wizards alive for thousands of years. What do you do? So now we have 4 choices. Open the door with a mana spell. We don't have much mana left. We only have 6 fucking mana left. Shoot the eye hole for 2 mana. Talk to the creature. Or run. I love this, man. I'm enjoying the fuck out of this. The only bad thing I can say about this is, like, once you play the game and you make all these different choices and see all the endings, I mean, there's no replay value after you play it a couple of times, right? Especially if you get through and you win the game or whatever. Are you really want to go back and play it again? Maybe. But you know, I'm really enjoying this. I wish there were more games like this on Steam. I really do. All right, especially written this well. We're not gonna waste any more mana, guys. We're just gonna talk to the creature and see what happens. I mean, why not, right? The worst I can say is "rawr," right? I mean, it's still behind the door. All right, well, we see a picture now of what we got. All right, you muster your courage, face the door, and raise your voice to be heard over the pounding and shouting of the goblins. We mean you no harm. We wish only to... Crack! The door explodes open. The light of your lantern streams into the doorway to reveal a large, muscled monster stooping over. He holds a massive spiked club in one hand and a melon-sized rock in the other. He steps into the room. Oh boy. Neville's tongue, it's an ogre! Reginald curses. Greetings, you say, mustering the most cheerful smile. I love it. You know, we're trying to be a fucking salesman with something like this. The yonder goblins are disrespecting your property. Let us join forces against them, you say? Yeah, we're a fucking salesman here. Just then, the front doors of the castles burst open like a tidal wave crashing on the beach. A heap of goblins falls into the room. Creatures, one on top of another, because there's so many goblins coming in. A chorus of glee erupts from their fanged mouths. The ogre hurls a stone straight at you. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be happy about us wanting to make a deal with him. Like, you wonder if he can even understand our language. You duck and hear a squishy loud thud behind you. Well, your diplomacy may not have exactly worked, but now there might be an opportunity. Time to let the ogre and the goblins become acquainted without you. I like it. I like it. Reginald and you nearly collide in your haste through the eastern portal. Once through, you slam the door closed. From the entrance chamber you just left come goblin yips in triumph, which then turns into screams of terror that are immediately drowned out by an earth-shaking snarl. Next is the sharp slapping of flesh against flesh and the wet sound of bodies ripping apart. You run from one room to the next. The ogre is not much of a housekeeper. The castle is full of giant cobwebs and broken furniture. Finally, you enter a larger room, a dining room, as evidenced by a long wooden table and two fireplaces. You motion to Reginald to stop, and you both listen. Faintly, you can hear the far-off sounds of the battle from behind you. Can't leave that way, you think. Just then, you hear something else. Labored breathing. Is that crying? I'm out of here, or investigate the sound? Well, I mean, we're playing this game because our real life is not in danger, right? So, of course, we're going to investigate the sound, especially if it's somebody crying. Fuck it. Morale increases by 1. For the glory and the loot, you think to yourself as you take the lead. You quickly realize the sound seems to be coming from this very room. You creep over to the other end of the dining hall and see a young woman sitting on the ground, chained to a fireplace, rocking back and forth and sobbing. Her cries break off as she looks up at you with an expression of fear that quickly turns into surprise. Who are you? She asks. You tell her your names, and that you are here to smite evil while making your fortunes. This brings a smile to her face, a very pretty smile, you suspect, although it's hard to tell under all the dirt smudged onto her face. She gives you her name as Saiba, and says there is a key to her chains on the table. Sure enough, beside crackled and dusty china is a small brass key. As you set about unlocking her, she tells you that she is a merchant's daughter, who was traveling with her father's trade caravan when it was attacked by a mighty ogre with a small band of priests of an evil god, wearing dark cloaks. Those of her party not killed in the initial attack were taken prisoner and chained up here in this room. One by one, they were taken away by the priest, never to return. They took my father, Silas sniffs. No doubt he is slain, but I must try to find him. Will you help me? You ask her if she has any idea where her father or the others might be now, but she knows little of the rest of the castle. Reginald takes you aside and says, ought we take her to safety and then look for her father on her own? She'll be in great danger traveling with us. You agree that having some half-starved, unarmed merchant's daughter tripping along behind you will only get her killed. But where is safety? Last time you checked, the courtyard was crawling with goblins, and according to her, the castle residents are not very good hosts. What do you do? Escort her out, hide her and move on, send her on her way, or chain her back up for now? Wow, is this one of those choices where like the most cruel choice is actually the best choice, like chaining her back up? Like, most people wouldn't think here, like, chaining her back up would seem like an asshole thing to do, right? But it might be for her own best. But if she's chained up, if somebody comes in to where she's at, she's not going to be able to run, she's not going to have a chance. So, if that is the best option here, something in my gut tells me that this is the best choice to make. Like, being the biggest dick here, chaining her back up is the best thing to do for her. In this game, anyway. I don't know why I get a feeling that's the best choice here, but it doesn't make sense because if she's chained up, if an ogre comes into the room or goblins or whatever, she's fucking pinned to her death, right? She can't move, she can't hide, fuck basically. But then again, if she's allowed to move or whatever, she's allowed to run, she might run right into her death and out in the goblins or whatever. So, we're not going to send her on her way, because that'll probably get her killed for sure. Hide her and move on. Escort her out. I think it's going to be between one of these two. I love this, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of this game. Combination of the good writing. I like as well that the game, like, didn't fuck around, like, at all. Like, we had action, and we were fighting goblins right from the get-go. So I love that the game started out with action and we didn't have to read 20 pages of shit before something happened. So I'm enjoying this a lot. I really am. I think we're going to hide her. I think we're going to try hiding her and moving on. There are a ton of hiding places in this ruin. Now, this is the first option I've had where I kind of want to go back and play all the other options and see what happens. So I already want to go back and play this game again, whatever happens at this point. I actually want to go back again to this lady, find this lady, and see what happens, like if we chain her up, back up, or if we just try to escort her out or whatever. So I'm already wanting to play again, and I'm not even done with the first story. This is really cool. There are a ton of hiding places in this ruin. You find a nice pile of rubble for her to hide behind a few rooms away. You tell her to keep quiet, and you'll come back for her. Stay still and be quiet here. We will return. Well, if we do not return by morning, escape the best you can. Yeah, see, at least this way, if we don't return or whatever, if we change her up, she's screwed. So at least now, if we don't return for her, if we die or whatever, at least she has a fucking chance. Clever, Reginald says as you leave her. If the priest finds Seba missing, they will not expect her to remain in the castle. With luck, they will leave the castle altogether to try to find her. That is a smart... I think we made a smart choice here, guys. And we can explore unhindered, you say with a smile. Yeah, we don't have to drag her along. The castle is quiet and dark. You walk into a wide hallway that branches into two directions. One direction is covered in a thick layer of dust, while the other is covered in footprints. You decide that it would be wise to get a lay of the land before looking for any trouble, right? Despite the faint smell of rotting flesh from the dusty hall, you decide that it would be wise to go this way first. Less monsters, more treasure, or at least you hope. You have kept your lantern hooded, but allowing slivers of light out. After all, you want to remain stealthy. The way is dim. However, the way is dim, however, and you find yourself tripping over rubble. and the odd piece of furniture. Ahead, there is a stench of rot. Now we're going to ask Reginald if he farted again? Making you wonder if there might be something terrible hidden in the shadows. Too bad you can't see in the dark like a goblin can. What do you do? Keep the lantern hooded or unhood the lantern? Yikes. Remain stealthy and not know what the fuck it is? Or unhood the lantern? I believe in our strength, guys. And I think being able to see what the fuck we're walking into is the best choice. So we're gonna unhood the lantern because of the smell. Morale increases. Since you appear to be entering a vacant part of the castle, you expect your light will not attract enemy attention, and so you unhood your lantern to see the way clearly. As you move along, the cobwebs thicken and thicken more. A spider, Reginald yelps. He points his sword up at the ceiling. There is an enormous hairy spider suspended by a mass of yarn-thick webs. The webs are dotted with small, silky cocoons, speck might encase rats or other small prey. With trembling fingers, Reginald is scared. With the trembling fingers, Reginald sheathes his sword and unslings his bow. He takes a big breath as he fits an arrow, draws back the string, and fires. The spider flails its long legs for a moment and then drops out of the web onto the floor with a thud. The two of you move on, taking extra care to watch the ceiling. We killed him with one shot. Nice job, Reginald. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright. Eventually, the two of you make your way to a spiral staircase going up. The upper regions of foul places like this are safer than the lower levels, says Reginald. Why in Neville's tongue would that be, you say? Reginald shrugs. Do not ask me what is in the mind of the fiends and evil-hearted beasts. Perhaps they prefer the darkness and stagnant air below ground. You look up the stairway and sigh. Well, perhaps we can get a view of the courtyard and the goblins from up there. Reginald leads the way up the stairs, which lead to a small tower. I also like that. So Reginald is the warrior, and he's taking the lead, much as you would expect, like in any, action RPG or RPG game, or even an MMO or whatever. You leave the wizards and the healers and stuff like that in the back, and the tank takes the front, which is exactly what's going on here. He leads the way. Moonlight filters in through two windows. This room is finely furnished and otherwise more nicely kept than the rest of the castle you visited so far. There is a small bed, still made on one end, an ornate table, bookshelf. On the table is an open fairy tale book and gold-embossed hand mirror. Being loot, you forget about the windows and the potential view of the courtyard. You pick up the mirror and inspect it. Strange, says Reginald. There's no dust up here. And do you feel a draft? Well, we are in a ruin, you say. Of course there's a draft. The glass in the windows is still intact, though, mutters Reginald. Gazing at your reflection in the mirror, you decide that you look pretty good, all things considered. You brush cobwebs from your wavy brown hair. Smile. You're happy to see that your teeth are still looking particularly good. Of course, you deserve nice teeth, since unlike most people you take care of them. Every morning, you wipe your teeth with a cloth dipped into a cleaning concoction consisting of vinegar, salt, a little bit of sand, and a small measure of your own urine. Wow! A little bit of your own urine in your toothpaste, huh? Man, I fucking love this, man. Vinegar, salt, a little bit of sand so that you can, they can scrape away the grime and stuff like that. This is so well thought out. This is so well thought out and creative. I fucking love this. But why a little bit of your own urine? That's fucking weird, man. You're fucking wiping a little bit of your own urine on your teeth to try to clean them. Because I guess it's effective by mixing this concoction together. That's fucking weird. I love it, though. You're about to pull yourself away from the mirror and put it in your backpack when you glimpse at a translucent skull with thin, wispy hair just behind you in the reflection. You spin around and see not a skull, but a young girl floating a few feet in the air. Uh-oh. Her pale face is fixed on you. Reginald sees her too, as evidence from him running down the stairway. How dare you touch what is mine? The ghostly girl shouts. You back up and reflexively put the mirror back on the table. Yeah, I would too. You have heard tales of powerful ghosts that can suck the life right out of you, and wonder if this girl is one of those. Wow. Again, I love the fucking art here, guys. Awesome. He looks like an evil little girl. What do? Run for the stairs, protection from evil spell, or apologize? Yeah, I don't think apologizing here is going to do much good to this fucking bitch. We're either going to run or cast a protection spell, and I think casting a protection spell, even though we only have 6 mana, yeah, I feel like we might need a protection spell here. Mana decreases by 2, morale increases. You mutter an arcane phrase and cross yourself. A faint shell materializes around you. You are one of them, the apparition wails. The small bed shoots across the room towards you. Your protection spell might repel ghosts, but it does not stop physical objects hurled by them. You jump just in time to avoid getting your legs smashed against the wall. You land on top of the bed. Without a moment to lose, you leap off and bound down the stairway. There is wailing and crashing above, but fortunately, the ghost does not follow beyond her room. You immediately find Reginald, and for he had not strayed far. He begins asking you questions, and you put up your hand. Another time, you say. The two of you continue through the castle. Occasionally, you hear distant things, a shout, a crash, or even voices. Soon, you come to a door with a light streaming out through its cracks. You open the door ever so slightly and peek in. You see a cloaked man frantically pacing back and forth with a torch in his hand. His cloak is open, revealing a muscled frame, inked with tattoos. You think you make out at least one of the tattoos to be the symbol of Neural, goddess of the undead. This reminds you of the tattooed body of a man hung in the city square only a month ago. He was believed to be an evil priest of Neural and was accused of terrible crimes, including raising zombies. Focusing on the rest of the room, your fear is quickly confirmed. There is a large stone symbol of Neural built into the wall. The stonework appears to be a new construction. In addition, there is a luxurious curtain adorning the wall, as well as a number of simple beds. Ah, okay. Priests of Neural are not fools and are able to harvest power from their deity to cast dangerous spells. However, you have the element of surprise, and there's only one of them. Attack with spells, attack without spells, cast a charm spell on him, or spy for a bit. Damn! It doesn't tell us how much mana the charm spell takes. Let's cast charm. Fuck it. Life decreases by 1. Oh, first life that we lost. You step out of the doorway, chant your spell, and point at the priest. His eyes widen in surprise and then narrow. With a word of some fiendish language, a dark bolt of energy crackles out of his outstretched finger and slices into you. Now you remember that all spellcasting priests, even an evil one such as this, must possess a strong will to draw power from their god. Such a man is no pushover from your mind enchantments. Reginald charges in. The priest ducks back as Reginald swings a sword, but is not fast enough. The blade slashes his shoulder. He tries to run, chanting something that you recognize as the beginning of a spell. Reginald finishes him off with one great cleave. Now that you are in the room, you can see that you're living in the living quarters. There are simple beds all along the wall and a good-sized chest in the corner. Treasure, you think as you run over and try to lift the lid. It's locked. That Neurolian priest did not die quietly, so perhaps you should have Reginald smash the lid with a sword and then get out of here. On the other hand, there ought to be a key around somewhere. Maybe you should take a few seconds to check. Yeah, we're going to search around a bit. Gold increases by 40. Cool. You stand guard while I search, you say to Reginald. You kick the body of the priest over. The corpse is a bloody mess, but you don't have time to be dainty about it. The man is nude other than the cloak and a golden amulet around his neck. The amulet is an unholy symbol of Neural, the goddess of the undead. You would never keep such an evil thing, but it is coated in gold, and you could have it melted down. You rummage through the sticky cloak. Sure enough, you find the key. You trot over to the chest, key in hand. The key has the same hue of metal as the lock, and you are optimistic that it will fit. You are fumbling with the key when you hear something off in the distance, and a chill goes down over your spine. Are more coming? They hear the priest cry out? Normally, you're cautious with chests, having heard they are sometimes trapped. However, searching the chest for traps will take time, and you are not particularly skilled with trap detection. Search the chest for traps, or use a key now. Nope, we're just going to use a key. Here's where we die, right? Fuck it, we're just going to use the key. I don't have much mana left. I only have 1 mana left. And this is where I wish that it told us how much fucking mana that, charming him cost, but it didn't tell us how much mana that spell cost. It didn't say, so I think it cost 3 mana to try to charm him. If I had known that, I probably wouldn't have tried to charm him. Anyway, use the key now. Gold increases by 80. What kind of booby trap is going to spring in on someone with a proper key? You think to yourself. You carefully insert the key into the lock, and it's a fit. You close your eyes as you turn the key, hoping for the best, right? The top of the chest pops open as though it's a spring, and nothing happens. You exhale in relief. Inside is a bag full of gold pieces, some platinum engraved china, and a small black-bound writing book. You gather up your new loot and hurry out of the room. The two of you only have to take in a few steps into the dark hallway when you see a flickering light up ahead. You could run back into the room and hide, prepare a firebolt to cast down into the hall, or cast an illusion to try and distract whoever is coming. We can't do either of those because we don't have enough fucking mana. So we're going back and hiding. The only thing we can do. Hide, you whisper to Reginald as you run back into the room and dive behind the curtain. Meanwhile, Reginald presses himself against the wall behind an open door. It seems like you've been in your hiding place for only a few seconds when you hear hurried footsteps in the room. Veldak, he is slain, you hear a tweedy voice say. Butchered. And his chest is pillaged, you hear another voice say. This one is close by. You imagine whoever is glaring down at the empty treasure chest. You know there are at least 2 men out there. What do? We can't attack with mana because we don't have the mana. Attack with a dagger or peek around the curtain. We're going to peek around the curtain. You stay still for a few seconds, and then you cannot help yourself. You decide to take a peek. You crane your head around the corner of the curtain. One cloaked figure stands near the treasure chest, his back to you, and the other stares down at the body. You see Reginald's sword coming out from behind the door. It appears your buddy is going to start the fight with or without you. You must act. Let's attack. Again, we don't have any mana. Only thing we can do. Okay, we took another hit point loss. You leap up from behind the curtain with your dagger drawn. The nearest Neuralian priest gasps with surprise. You hear, "Slay!" from the other priest, and you dodge, but not fast enough. Painful cold radiates out from where you are struck by his dark magic. You jump onto a nearby bed and launch yourself at the nearest priest, who shrieks as you stab him over and over. Meanwhile, Reginald has made quick work of the other one with his long sword. You take the time to search the bodies and find gold unholy symbol medallions on each of them, as one has a fine silver dagger. Not bad for 20 seconds worth of work. I tire of looting corpses. Let us be off to find the merchants, and by them, a glorious reward, you exclaim. Off you go, deeper into the castle. Soon you will find yourself in a library. However, all the books are gone from the tall wooden shelves, either stolen or destroyed. As a wizard, this is disappointing to you. All castle libraries have secret doors, you announce. After searching for a little while, you notice a small statue of a winged boy reading a book worked into the stone wall. You press on the statue's arm and it shifts down. There is a grinding sound and you see the bookshelf nearby crack open from the wall. You wedge your fingers into the gap and pry open the door. Immediately before you are stairs descending down into darkness. Dear reader, normally I would give you a choice of whether or not you go down the stairs. But really, who finds a secret door and chooses not to investigate? I fucking love this, guys. I love this. So the writer of this says, hey, dear reader, normally I'd give you a choice of whether you go down the stairs or not. But how the fuck are you going to find a secret door and not go down? So let's just go ahead and go on, shall we? Love that. I love the sense of humor by this writer. And so, with lantern in hand, you descend a few steps and then listen. It's deathly quiet down here, and chilly. You urge Reginald to take the lead. After all, he's wearing the armor. There is a small metal lever on the inside of the passage that you suppose is what you use to open the door from the inside. Nevertheless, you decide to leave the door open. The last thing you need is to get trapped in this evil-smelling place. It is some time before you finally reach a small, empty chamber. On the far wall is a large iron door. Scrawled over the door in rusty red dye, or more likely dried blood, is a set of elaborate symbols. God, what is that? Says Reginald, playing the lantern light over the symbols. It's the writing of an infernal tongue, you say, a language of devils, demons, and other beasts that inhabit the nightmare universes. At times, I do not envy your knowledge, says Reginald with a faint shudder. The study of magic leads to many dark places, you say. The trick is to not wander too far into the void. What does it say? Asks Reginald in a tone that is not all enthusiastic or curious. You study the symbols. They are crudely drawn, as though in haste, perhaps scrawled by bloody fingers. I can't be sure. I believe it's a ward of some sort, a protection spell. A protection spell using such foul language, Reginald sniffs? I would expect a curse or a fiendish summoning. It is protection against the summoning, barrier, you say. Evil knows evil best, and a spellcaster of black magic understands they need to protect himself from the terrors they bring into their own world. Reginald grimaces and points the tip of his sword at the warded door. Only a fool would go down there, although I am more of a man of curiosity than wisdom. You slap his shoulder, making a dull sound against the breastplate, as you have proven time and time again. What do? Leave or open the door? Well, we don't have any fucking mana left. We have a whole lot of gold, and the smart thing is to probably leave. But, fuck it. We're already into this. We're going for opening the door, right? Maybe there's a treasure beyond, a treasure room beyond, you joke. Fortune and glory, my friend, Reginald says with a broad smile. The large iron door shudders and screeches as Reginald slowly pries it open. Once open, your friend's face drops and you soon realize why. A powerful stench wafts up from the dark stairs below. He takes a deep breath and plunges down the stairway. Oh boy. The two of you descend for some time before you enter a large room eerily illuminated by green flaming torches fastened to each of the walls. Near the far wall is a dais leading up to an altar with skulls inlaid into the floor frame. Some human, others of animals or perhaps monsters. The lower altar is bloodstained and covered with candles in a golden candle holders arranged around a book. Okay, so the lower altar is bloodstained. It's covered with candles and golden candle holders arranged around a book. The book is bound in what might very well be mummified human skin, with hand and finger bones embedded into the cover as though the book were in the grasp of the dead. That's fucking cool. The title is an infernal, but you don't recognize the words. Beyond the book is a raised part of the altar, white stone, seemingly scoured clean of bloodstains. This surface has more candles, a golden cup, and a large golden bowl filled with some liquid, maybe blood. Just before the altar is a narrow but deep pit. Shining your lantern in, you make out something gleaming white, a skeletal arm and a hand. Reginald adds his light to yours, and now you can see a heap of bodies of various stages of decay. The heap is crawling with rats and other vile scavengers. Sacrifices. Well, this is what you say. Sacrifice is the source of the stench, you mutter. I would bet my last copper that Cybus' father and the rest of the caravan are among them. Uh-oh, that sucks. Reginald makes a face of disgust. I say we swiftly pilfer what we can from this unholy place and just leave. And as he says this, a bowl on the upper altar begins to tremble as the candlelight around it ripples. Something's coming, you whisper. Oh, it's already here, says Reginald. Smoke billows up from the bowl and begins taking the form of a horned fiend. His glowing, pitless eyes rove about the chamber, taking in everything. Oh boy. Demon, you shout. Despite the terrified look on his face, Reginald is already unslung his backpack as though preparing to scoop valuables from the altar. He might have the right idea. After all, you came here for loot, and it might take a moment for the shadow beast to fully take form. That strange book might be valuable. Finally, maybe you can disrupt this fiend's arrival by knocking over the bowl. But do you dare? After all, this monster hasn't acknowledged you yet, and messing about with his bowl is likely a dangerous way to introduce yourself. Grab the book and run. Try to disrupt the fiend's arrival. No time for any of this. Run. Ooh. Ooh, do we want the book? Sounds like a cool fucking book, even though we don't understand what the fuck is on it. We're taking the book, fuck it. Grab the book and run. Gold increases by 100. It's worth 100 gold, I guess. Loot and run, you whisper as you open your backpack and toss the book into the bag. Reginald gets to work blowing out candles and throwing the golden candlesticks into his backpack. You follow his example. You have nearly cleared off the lower table of the altar when you hear, "Your souls are mine." The voice is a hiss, and its words are in infernal language. "Now we run," you shout as you turn, flinging on your backpack. A terrible cold grips your shoulder, making you scream. Breaking free of the cold, you bolt up the stairs, leaping 3 steps at a time. There is a wheezing snarl not far behind you. You make it through the large iron door. The door is heavy and the hinges are tight. Nevertheless, you expect that if you hurl your weight against it, you can knock it shut. But this will take time, and the demon is nearly upon you. Oh man, this is so good. I don't want to die now. We're gonna fucking just keep running. Fuck. You decide there's no time for anything but running. Freedom comes a raspy shout followed by laughter. You turn on the speed for the next stairway and have nearly caught up to Reginald at the top when you feel a sudden overpowering chill. Let me in, hisses a voice in your head. You resist. It is like your soul is being ripped apart. Despite your pain, you keep going, following Reginald out the secret door, out of the library, and down several passageways. Rounding a corner, you are suddenly in a large room filled with the soft light of dozens of candles. In the middle are 3 of the evil priests holding hands and surrounding what appears to be a pile of corpses. The men are chanting in infernal language. One of the corpses begins to twitch. Just to the side of the priest stands a massive ogre. Oh boy. Oh my god, we're so fucked. The ogre fixes his cold dark eyes upon Reginald. Meanwhile, the corpse that has been twitching springs up to his feet with alarming speed. You think you recognize him as one of the priests you killed earlier. The undead creature levels its hungry gaze upon you. What do? Tag with your dagger? We have no mana left. Run away, we're gonna run. Oh my god, we're down to 6 health, guys. Life decreases by 2, morale decreases by 2. There are too many, you think, as you turn and run. I will crush your soul. You look back and see the red-eyed undead priest sprinting up behind you at an unnatural speed. Before you can turn to face him, he pounces, knocking you on your face. You feel a great pain as teeth rip into the back of your neck. That is not good. The fiend says something, but you cannot make it out because his mouth is full of your flesh. I am free, and now I can feast, it says after it takes a gulp. Oh my god. Your arms are pinned below you. You are now helpless. You do not know where Reginald is, but it is dim, but dimly you can hear the clangs and shouts of battle back in the room you fled from. No doubt he cannot help you. And then, suddenly, the weight lifts off you. The undead priest skips away down the hall. I have a better use for you, fool, it shouts. You get up and run back into the candlelit room and find Reginald holding his bloody side. Merely a scratch, he mutters with a smile. I slew the ogre, and the others fled, the cowards, he says. You feel a pang of shame. You hadn't meant to leave him. You expected him to run too. Exactly. You and Reginald catch your breath, and somewhere in the castle echoes the distinct, raspy cackle of that dark spirit with hellish eyes. A chill goes up your spine. You do not want to tangle with that thing again. You suspect that neither of your spells nor blades can harm it. Perhaps it would be wise to run from this cursed place. On the other hand, maybe you can afford to take a few seconds to search the bodies of the recently fallen enemies. But there is still the matter of the merchant's daughter, Iva. What do you do? Fuck, man. I'm down to 6 health. As much as I don't care about searching the bodies. We got a lot of loot already. We're gonna flee. Yeah, we've freed Saiba. She's on her own. At least she can get out. Yeah, as much as I want to try to help her out. This is where the altruism comes in. Do I want to help out Saiba? I have a feeling if I try to help her out, we're gonna die. But fuck it, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna be altruistic, guys. Come, Reginald, we must find her, you say. The two of you are debating where exactly you should go to accomplish this when there is a blood-curdling scream not far off. Before you can react, you see Saiba, her eyes bloodshot, run into the candlelight. Gods be praised, you exclaim. Gods, we must flee! A monster comes, Saiba shouts. The three of you run. The ears, you complain as you run through the castle entrance chamber. You were referring to the goblin corpses from which you could harvest trophies. No number of rubbery ears are worth your soul. Yeah, this is what he says. No number of rubbery ears are worth your soul, Reginald exclaims. Despite your present anxiety, this strikes you as somewhat funny, and you plan to remind him of his words later if you survive. For now, you do as your friend advises and just keep running. The three of you retreat to the forest. You're all exhausted, and so once safely away from the cursed ruin and reasonably certain no evil follows, you make camp. Because you're still in a goblin country, however, you decide against a campfire. Instead, you will have to make do with a sleeping roll in your backpack. It is a rather cold night, and you notice Saiba carries nothing but the ripped-up clothing on her back. What do? Offer to share a blanket? Offer her your blanket? Shrug and go to sleep. Offer to share the blanket, baby. Maybe we'll get some, right? Why not? Alright. So morale decreases by 1. You cad, I'm tempted to give you a morale point for your bold choice. I love this. So the writer wrote me, basically we're basically saying we want to, you know, we can have sex with this gal. I mean, why? I mean, that's what's gonna happen, right? If she's fucking, I don't know. And you cad, I'm tempting to give you a morale point for your bold choice, but unfortunately, the scene does not play out that way. You invite Saiba to share your blanket with you. She cocks her head, gives you a suspicious look, and politely declines. We just got rejected. Reginald offers his own blanket. She smiles at him, takes the blanket with a curtsy, and goes off to find a tree to curl up around. So basically, he just gave, he did the gentleman thing and said, here's my blanket, you know. That's the right thing to do, rather, you know, like offering a girl your coat or whatever on a cold winter day. You know, you take your coat off and you take the cold yourself, and you offer her the coat or whatever. But here in this choice, I decided, hey, let's share, let's snuggle up close, right? And she rejected me. Feels fucking bad, man. Hey, the worst. All you can do is try, right? All right. It would have been warmer still with me, you think to yourself. Alas, not everyone can be as practical as you are. Since Reginald is cold anyway, he decided, yeah, now we can share our blanket with Reginald. Will he decline us as well? Where's the option to share a blanket with Reginald? If we can't have Saiba, maybe we could cuddle up with Reginald under our blanket. Where's that choice? Reginald is cold anyway. He decides to take the first watch. You're awoken well before dawn, and you loan him your blanket as you set up to keep an eye out for danger. As you settle into your watch, your eyes wander to the sleeping merchant's daughter. A sliver of moonlight has escaped through the branches above and illuminates her delicate nose. You decide that it's a pretty little nose. You feel a pang of guilt. The young maiden has just lost her father, and here you are I am just trying to make her feel better, right? She is not simply some young woman you met at the inn and that you might like to try to charm. You were never that good at charming anyway. That was always Reginald's talent. He always told you that it was because you think too much and can never allow your natural charm to shine through. I like that. You turn your attention away from the sleeping girl and into the dark gloom of the forest. It's obvious that you need something to occupy your thoughts in order to stay awake. You wait until Reginald begins snoring before you pull your spellbook out of your backpack. Reginald hates it when you study magic while you're supposed to be keeping watch, but you need something to distract you from the cold. With flint and tinder, you light a single candle to read by. The arcane text that you have read 1,000 times over, but differently each pass through provides a sort of familiar comfort, a comfort that you're grateful for in this dark forest. Soon, you are lost in study. After some time, you can never keep track of time when you are immersed in the magical lore. You exclaim, "Yes!" Danger? Reginald rolls over, his eyes slit. He's only half awake. I understand invisibility. I can now turn invisible. At last! That's cool. We learned a new spell by studying. This spell has eluded me for so long. At least I think I understand. You say as you point down at the arcane symbols in your book. Oh, go to sleep, Reginald slurs, and then his head falls back to the ground. This is Goblin Country, and I'm here on watch. I dare not sleep, you say, but Reginald does not hear you. He's already snoring again. It turns out that you were not so vigilant after all. At some point, you gaze at the candle flame and you fall asleep. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. In a dark goblin forest, all three of us are asleep. This ain't good. So I wonder, how did we get life? When we made the choice to offer to sleep with the gal, it gave us 5 life, and it gave us 5 mana. That's kind of weird. I wonder why that happened. I guess it rewarded us for a bold decision, maybe? I don't know. Awaken! Someone is near, Reginald whispers as he shakes you. You sit up groggily. It's still dark. At first, all you hear is the owl hooting, and then, sure enough, voices trickle through the trees. This is no goblins, you think. These are human voices. They approach up on the trail, Saiba says, huddling in her blanket. To the trail then, but keep quiet. No lantern, you whisper. We go slow. Moonlight will have to be enough. Why? Why not stay still and let them pass? Asked Saiba. Because we're adventurers, you whisper fiercely as you gather your backpack. Refusing to be left by herself, Saiba follows as you creep up the edge of the trail. Thank the god she is not sniffling or otherwise making any racket. You have just taken up your position in the brush when you see the first of the column of priests of Neural. Oh, good thing we hid. Visible in the light of their torches. Several of them are speaking casually, loudly even, as though they, and not the goblins, own this part of the woods. As they pass by, you see the middle of the column of a large stretcher made of thick wooden branches and rough spun fabric. It's carried by 8 priests. Upon the stretcher is a pure white horse, whose legs are bound with rope. Not a horse, but a unicorn. You have not seen one before. But the long, softly glowing horn is a dead giveaway. Several meters behind the main party are a tall man and a woman. The man holds a lantern, and in his lantern light you can clearly make out the woman's features. You know the young woman. Or, to be precise, you know of her. She is the beautiful Lady Igraine, daughter of Lord Igraine. Her father holds a keep and estate some distance from town, and her family comes to Ring City for annual tournaments. More than once you have gazed wistfully at her from the cheap seats far in the corner of the jousting arena. Needless to say, it's a bit disappointing to see that she appears to be an Aurelian priestess. Oh wow. And the man with her, you wonder? After a moment you recognize him as her father, Lord Igraine. To think a man of such illustrious line would get mixed up with this evil lot. Anyway, back to Lady Igraine. Her jet black hair is pulled back to reveal a most shapely long neck. Her flawless skin glows in the lantern light, the golden unholy symbol of Neural hanging over her bosom. Contrasts nicely with her large brown eyes. We cannot go back there, not yet, Lord Igraine is saying. Why would we ever go back? That ruin offers no decent bath, Lady Igraine replies. There is some unfinished business, however. It can wait, Lord Igraine says, as he absently pats the pocket of his immense fur-lined overcoat. The old one will move on from Castle Avernus to seek the living. Let us hope he does not exact revenge upon us. After the column has passed out of earshot, Reginald sighs. A unicorn, was it not? Where do they find such a creature? And what do they plan to do with it, you ask? I wager they do not plan to simply feed her apples and comb her mane, Reginald replies. Her? The Lady Unicorn, you ask? Oh, I did not look in that decisive region, Reginald blushes. Such craven and pathetic simpletons, Saiba sees as she glares after the column, priest and disappearing around a bend. I propose we tie each of them down and cut off one finger at a time. We will bind their wounds to ensure they will not lose too much blood and fall unconscious. I will then take their eyelids and... Wow! She's fucking really wanting to tear them up. Oh, I do not think all that will be necessary, you interrupt. There are perhaps 24 of them. I do not think we will have time for all that work. You and Reginald exchange perplexed looks, and then Reginald whispers in your ear, young maidens love unicorns. Ah, she wants to get the unicorn. Saiba regards the two of you with hard eyes. We should attack them now and make them pay for their transgressions. There are too many, Reginald protests, even with the element of surprise. I thought you said you were adventurers, Saiba interrupts. Reginald, are adventurers not. Are adventurers, yes, but not idiots, Reginald replies, his pride clearly hurt. There are only 3 of us, and they are slowed by their burden. We could cut through the woods and get ahead of them. She'll ambush them as they come by. Or we could follow them from a distance and learn about their quarry. Perhaps strike at a more opportune time, Reginald says. And perhaps they will notice us following them. Or perhaps they are journeying to some vile fortification that we cannot hope to storm. I say we ambush them now while they're in the open, Saiba says. What do you say? So we don't have a choice here to ignore both of them. Wow. We can only do follow Saiba's advice or Reginald, our longtime partner. Damn, I hate to go against Reginald here. Follow them or ambush them? I feel like Saiba's probably getting over anxious because she wants to protect the unicorn and probably wants to you know, make them pay for their transgressions or whatever. I think she really wants that unicorn, as Reginald pointed out. And I think we're going to avoid her over-eagerness to try to help the unicorn and maybe put us in dire danger. I think that Reginald probably has the best option, and we're going to trust our partner with this. We're going to follow them. Why is our once demure, frightened merchant's daughter suddenly wishing to play the role of a bloodthirsty battle tactician, you wonder? Dear Saiba, we will met just out justice to these villains for the death of your father. Oh yeah, that makes sense as well. She's wanting to get revenge for the death of her father. That makes sense as well. So we'll meet out justice to these evil villains, the death of your father, among the other countless evil deeds in due time. You are not trained in the art of war as Reginald and I are. Even if we set a successful ambush, their numbers are simply too great for 2 men. Exactly. There are 3 of us, Saiba says fiercely as she thrusts out her palm. A blade for me? Certainly adventurers have more weapons than they need. Reginald shrugs, unbuckles a dagger belt, and hands it to her. Even if they scurry off to a fortification of some kind, we'll take them. I have the trust of the captain of the guards of Ring City. He will not suffer evil so close, says Reginald. The 3 of you set off after the priest while keeping a good distance away. Out of sight most of the time. Luckily, their party is so noisy that tracking them is trivial. After an hour or so, your quarry leaves the trail and hikes over a field. You now have to follow a bit closer in order to not lose them. Soon, they stopped on a hill with a large slab of granite at the top. They set the unicorn down on the slab and surround it. Oh boy. You stop in the foliage of the tree line behind the field and watch. The skyline is beginning to lighten with the upcoming sun. Ooh, they get the fucking horse on this granite slab. Wow. They begin chanting. The chant is infernal, but you can only make out a few words from here. They are chanting a prayer, you think. Something about forgiveness. I am no Neuralian priest, but I do not think their bodies well. This bodes well for the unicorn, says Reginald. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. They mean to sacrifice him, Saiba says. The unicorn is a him? Reginald asks. Yes, I observed when they carried him by their hiding spot, Saiba responds. That's irrelevant, you say in exasperation. Our enemies stand in the open and on high ground. We cannot approach unnoticed. Allow me to lure them to you, to the forest edge. I shall play the part of the frightened lost girl. They will be overjoyed to recapture what they lost. You can then attack from your hiding places, Saiba. No, my lady, they might hurt you, says Reginald. I will disembowel them, she says, brandishing the dagger that Reginald lent her. I understand your anger for what they did to your father, but do not die a fool, says Reginald. A fool I am, Saiba asks. Her face is such a visage of malice that you and Reginald both take a step back. Reginald stutters. Perhaps stealth would serve us better, you interject. I might turn invisible, creep into their midst, and cut the unicorn free. Wow. My friend, surely your powers are best spent spewing forth gouts of deadly fire, not sneaking around like a rat. Fire and steel. Simple and effective, says Reginald. Wait a minute, that's Reginald that says that, sorry. My friend, surely your powers are best spent spewing out forth guts of deadly fire, not sneaking around like a rat. Fire and steel, simple and effective, says Reginald. What do you do? Damn, this is such a good choice. I like this. I like this a lot. No, I'm going to use my new spell. I'm going to go with my gut feeling here. It uses less mana anyway, and I'm going to turn invisible. But the bad thing is, if I do this, I'm not going to have enough mana to cast a fire spell if I need to. But I will be able to turn invisible and free the unicorn, but I might pay for it. I only have 11 life. Fuck it, we're gonna go with Reginald. We're gonna use Fire and Steel. Oh no! No! Okay. Certainly they plan to sacrifice a unicorn, and we must act before they do it. If we can scatter them long enough, Cyber can cut the unicorn free, and then we would have an additional ally. We shall strike like lightning, says Reginald. With you and Reginald in the lead, you rush up the grassy hill. The murmurs and chanting from the evil priest turn into shouts of surprise and alarm. Soon, dark hissing rays of death magic slice the air around you, and you are struck in the leg and go down on one knee. Fortunately, you are close enough to them to use your Fan of Fire spell. A burst of flame shoots out from your outstretched fingers, and several priests wail as they light on fire. Unfortunately for you, this is also when the barrage of death rays from all the other priests begins in earnest. Reginald, with his sword ready, does not even make it to their line before he is cut down. And then they turn their merciless eyes upon you. This last event ends your life, but don't give up. This is not the end of your story. Start over, or go back to the main menu. Yeah, not only did we die, but we died fucking horribly here, guys. Like, we got absolutely crushed. We lost all our mana with a spell. And if we want to go back and play that same scene again and pick a different choice, like go with Saiba's idea or go with my original idea, like I almost did, and turn it invisible, I'd have to go back through the whole thing again. Start over. Starting over starts us back over from square one. Yeah. Guys, we played this game for over an hour and a half. We died horribly. You saw my choices. You saw where I got to. I wonder if we had made a similar choice right there, if we, would have fared better. If we would have went with Saiba's idea to let her play the, the possum, basically, what we struck, or if we had went with my original thought of playing invisible. I don't know. I have no idea. All I can say, guys, is I really, really like this game, and I'm going to play this again. I was wanting to play this game until I either got to the second chapter, because there's 6 chapters, as we know, right? If we go to exit. Right. So, yeah, there's 6 different chapters. So I was wanting to play until we either got to chapter 2, right? Which we probably wasn't far away from making chapter 2, I don't know. But we died. We died in chapter 1, and I am very happy with what happened. I like it. The game is challenging. It's obviously not over easy. You have your choices of risk versus reward. Do you go for the gold? Do you cut off the goblin ears? Do you go for looting? Do you leave when monsters are coming? You have all these choices that determine what happens to you. And I love this game. I like it. If you like to read, you don't mind reading, I highly recommend this. If you like good writing, you don't mind reading, and you like a good story-driven adventure, then this might be for you. And at under $5, I can't recommend this game enough. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my playthrough, or my first play of this D&D game on Steam, and I'll have the link down below on my YouTube. This YouTube video for you guys to go out and purchase this game if you'd like to play this adventure as well, and see if you can fare better than I did. I had a lot of fucking gold. I think I had 290 gold, but it doesn't do you a lot of good when you can't make it back to town and die horribly like I did. So, fun game. I enjoyed it very much. I'm definitely going to come back and play again, and I'll probably make another video when I do here soon. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Peace.